Hey, this is Pastor Tony Smith, and we're so excited to be live. Come on, share us, contact a neighbor, a friend, and let them know that Man Up is now on Facebook today. I want to thank all my men for being here, taking time out, doing their family. This is the Resurrection Sunday. We had 2 powerful impact services, and now we're taking the time out just to fellowship and share with you. We want to talk today on the subject concerning men's statue, men's standard. The title is Will the Real Man Stand Up? But that's kind of hard to say that because every man has a different dimension in life. So we're just going to talk about our role as men. Let's get right into it. And the question I'm going to ask you is men sensitive? And if they do, what role do they play to show it? Their sensitivity in relationships and in responsibilities.
I would say yes. I can speak for me. Yes, being sensitive, and especially in my case because I have so many daughters, that I can't be as rough or tough with them because I have to, keep in mind how they are, and then so having 5 daughters and a wife, that's 6 women on a consistent basis that I have to
pray for you.
Be mindful, of how to communicate without being too harsh, but not being too soft, disciplining but not damaging, So
let's throw a curve to that. Is being sensitive being weak, like a crybaby? Because that's been known that women say, "Why are you whining? Why are you so sensitive?" Like they don't expect you to be sensitive, but they require for you to be sensitive. If anybody run into something like that before, Pastor Marcus' view was pretty good, but I'm just saying in that.
I think the sensitivity they talking about is listening really to their feelings or understanding how they look at stuff or feel about stuff. Not actually is like being a wimp. But some guys are extra sensitive as being a wimp, like a girl, but.
So you really into your feelings today? Really into his feelings today. How about you, Matt?
I think as a man, you're probably required to be some level of sensitive, because if you're not, then you're like a brick wall and too strong, and you can never react properly to certain situations. So you have to be able to kind of be touched or move, which is basically what sensitivity is. So I think there's a level that you have to have and be able to express that at some point in your life, especially when it comes to family and children.
Well, I was that brick wall. I didn't really understand that until I really got the brick.
I didn't call you enough for that. I apologize about
that was open form, so I said. No, but when I got the victory, I was like a brick wall, and I got sensitive as we went along. Just found out that you could really, cry. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I understand what's going on in the Word from your teachings. To me.
How about you, Pastor?
That's good about what you were saying about crying because of the Word and things. But in my life, I find out that sometimes I found out I was more sensitive than I realized because I'm putting so much love into the relationship. And if that love is not received or understood, sometimes it can be misunderstood. And I'm like, why can't you understand the love that I'm giving and the way that I'm giving it? Because I'm giving it as only I can give it. You got to understand me to know that I'm not just being sensitive because I got feminine feelings or nothing, but because I have strong feelings for you, and I love you so much that you need to understand me. So, and everything I do is about love. It's not about trying to put you down. And then it affects me because I put so much love into what I'm doing that if you don't understand it, you may misunderstand and see it the wrong way.
So that comes from the prayer that men are from Venus and women from Mars, that kind of thing. Because they sometimes they think our compassion is anger. Or trying to tear them down because we don't create a formula of this is the way to go. We just get straight to the point. You're wrong. This is how you do it. And they're like, why are you trying to hurt me? Have anybody ever felt like, Mr. Rack, have you dealt with that in sort of way where your passion look like it's becoming a threat to someone?
Yeah, to my wife years ago, because I, so passionate about certain things that she didn't understand the way that it sound coming out, which is the message that needed to be heard. And she was like, you always fussing. Wow. But the fact of it is that you're not always fussing, it's just that you care so much about them that when you hear something that's going on and the way that we respond to that situation she may not have that at that time didn't understand that I'm responding in care of and love for her, versus just trying to come down and have the compassion the way she want me to feel for that situation or whatever it was.
You know, and piggybacking about the way you respond, it's in a man that want to solve a situation, want to resolve it. And women sometimes don't see, they say, well, like my wife may say, I don't really need you to solve the situation, I need you to just listen.
Oh.
But then they need to stop bringing it like they need an answer.
Well, see, I done been down that road a ton of times too, you know, and so it's kind of a catch-22 because naturally being a fixer, when you hear it, you want to give a solution. But then if you just listen and don't say nothing, then do you care?
You still wrong.
You don't got nothing to say?
So what's the struggle? Our language or their vision of how they think it should be?
It's a mix.
What's the problem?
For me, it was a, you know, I figured, like, do I need to ask in the beginning? Should I help?
Do that
Should I
work
just
though?
listen?
Are you
I mean,
preventing
listen. That sounds like the right answer.
Right.
But to them, does it sound like you're being smart?
Yeah, it sounds like you're being smart.
It's like, how do you win in an area where you're giving counsel and they seeing that your counsel is being harmful? Because I'm going to tell you something. I found out that women are they're more loving, more caring, and also more unforgiving than men are. You know, like, they can love you, care for you, but they still haven't forgave you for the thing that they're still walking in love and care for.
Wow.
So one movie theater, one picture on TV, one comment can trigger that thing back into the same frame.
Like it was.
Like, you know, where is the season where you begin to forgive and forget?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I don't think everybody has that. I don't think everybody has that skill set to forgive and forget.
Right.
And because everybody doesn't see those two being Siamese twins, that they actually go together, a lot of people feel like I can forgive but not forget, and then some people feel like I'll just forget it and then I don't have to forgive.
Some people,
Some people feel like they can forgive, but they'll never be able to forget it. Then some people will just try to forget it and never even deal with forgiveness. Just try to avoid it or put it out their mind, but
That's true.
never deal with the forgiveness.
and I've heard people say, like, yeah, I'll forgive that person, but I won't forget purposely because they
And
say,
are you really walking in true forgiveness? Because
Well, right.
the remembrance
Yeah.
of it.
exactly.
The
But
Bible
that's
says
what I was,
there's some things you got to throw from you from the east and from the west because of how much the impact it gives.
right.
You see what I'm saying?
I've heard people literally say, like, I'll forgive the person, but I'm not going to forget. And, like, they'll place that person in that place and, like, leave them there. Like, they'll never forget that experience because they never want to get that close and feel whatever they felt. And like you said, they never reached that true level of forgiveness because they always
let's go into something. I'm gonna throw a curve. We're talking about men, but because you brought those points up, and I think that's very important. This is saying once a cheater, always a cheater. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I think he in Christ is a new creature, and your dimensions of Christ changes you.
Right.
Your dimensions of Christ. Then you get to a platform in your life that you're too old to cheat. You're just tired. You know, it's just too much work.
Right.
It's just too much work. You know, now you're just ornery because it's just too much work to cheat.
Right.
My point is that you got people that still have a flashback. How can we change? How can we allow someone to change their character if we're still punishing them from what they've done?
That's true. 'Cause like you never forgave me. If you say you forgive me, then you say you forgave always. But when I meet an action meet something that came from your past, and now you see it, now you gone back to you bring me back from the 80s to the 2000s, let me know that that's the same way I felt then. I thought you forgave me, so I'm being
you're almost being held hostage. Like
It is like it's a prison sentence.
yeah, right, exactly.
I
It's a
know
prison sentence.
one when if a woman say, she forgave you, but she still keeps saying, "Oh, where you was at? Oh, where you was this." A lot of guys end up saying, "If you keep on considering that this way I'm gonna be, I might as well end up."
Now, I
end up
disagree
being
with
there."
that. I disagree with that because they treat you that way, you should end up being that they teach you. I do agree that because they teach you that way, now you want to stay away from them also.
wow.
I do agree with that. because the pressure of being reminded that you are delivered, that the pressure of being reminded of something that you delivered from makes you feel like, I don't want to be with you this hour. So if you think I'm cheating because I don't want to be with you this hour, I'm going to take that hit because I'm tired of you humiliating me, reminding me of the fall or the lifestyle I had before that. You see what I'm saying? But the man in me wants to ignore you. The man in me wants to ignore you. The way to ignore you is to cut you off. Anybody else got to say something?
I think you're only gonna see what you're looking for. You know, like in the house, if I lost my keys, I'm going in looking for my keys. I won't see the shoes. I won't see this. I won't see all of these other things because I'm only looking for.
But in reality, and I'm not trying to, I'm challenging you. Because in reality, there have been times I look for my shoes and I find so much other stuff.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I think you got to stop looking.
Exactly.
I think it's got to be, I think you got to stop looking. I think that, I saw something on Facebook the other day. This girl was doing a skit, and she called her boyfriend and say, or husband, whoever, and say, hey, give me a call. I got something to ask you. He didn't call. He didn't answer the phone. He didn't call. She called back. She said, I called you several times. You didn't answer the phone. Who you with? I know who you with now. You with so-and-so. Then she called back later, and he didn't answer. Then she called back later and said, I told you, you know what? I'm done with you. Come get your stuff. I'm sick of this. I'm tired of going through this. He still didn't answer. Then she called back and told me, come on, baby, call me. Well, we can talk about this. I thought about what I just said. I was so wrong. Then she said, you know what? I can't stand you. I wish you could die. I knew you'd treat me this way. You only want to hurt me. She went through this whole thing.
Never talked to him.
And never talked to him. And then when she talked to him, she realized that he was in the hospital.
Wow.
So all that stuff she got on her phone and text. And I think sometimes the Bible says we really have to learn how to renew our mind. And if you renew your mind, you're forgetting those things that are behind you. We can't quote those scriptures and then not live those scriptures.
Right.
I think that's a challenge. I think that male and females go through it. I mean, I once was young, but now I'm old, and I can tell you I've been through that.
Yeah.
Where you judge me on something I did do. See, sometimes there's a thing called guilty but free. I'm guilty of the charge, but I'm free from it. Right? You see what I'm saying? It's called dead truth. It is the truth, but it's dead in my life now. And I'm not going to let you rise it up in my life. So y'all want to share about that. Like how do we deal with, or how do we handle being accused when we're innocent, but they have enough to convict us from our past?
I guess the question that I would probably ask in that is, how do you heal a scar you can't see? Because when you're dealing with the emotional side of things, it can create a scar. But it's a scar that you can't see, and then you can think that you are past it. You can think that you have worked through it or what have you, but the scar is still there. So anything that resembles something that could have happened in the past will, in a sense, become a trigger, and now, wake up something that was supposedly dead.
Or destroy something that should be in the future because you still caught up in the past.
Right.
Anybody else want to share?
Now you wounded the person, even though that person, if I committed the act, but now since you feel a certain type of way, you always want to wound me back.
And you keep
By your act, you keep wounding me back.
Dave?
Yeah, I feel like they really just want you to go through what they went through
Hurt people.
until they until
Then there's no forgiveness then. That's not forgiveness.
It's not.
That's not forgiveness. You're going to remind me you have never forgave me. We got back together for 5 years, and now you're bringing it up again. You have not forgave me. And to deal with the wounded thing, a physician doesn't heal you. The body heals itself.
All right.
You have to heal yourself. Physician, heal yourself. You have to heal yourself. You have to tell yourself, no, I'm not going through this. I'm not going to torture myself through this anymore. He has a right, or she has a right, to go out and not be questioned for the hours that I'm not with him.
So what would you say if the person is not strong enough or at the level to understand that they need to heal themselves? What if they weak and they in love and don't know how to do it? What would you say to that person?
I say this. If you're not healed, then be honest that you're not healed. So the person that's with you can treat you from the standpoint that you're not healed.
Wow, that's good. That's real good.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And sometimes you gotta get medicine that you don't want to take. But telling me that you okay and we fine, and then you snap on me, you cutting me now, because I'm ready to move on, and you wanna go back and do that. And sometimes you're not healed because you're trying to get something to be explained that can't never be explained.
You know, I heard this word recently. Sometimes people think they have a sickness and it really is a spirit that's affecting them. You heard that one?
Yeah, I heard that this morning. That was a good word. I know you told me that. And that's the truth. And sometimes we created a spirit within us, and we want to call it hurt.
Right.
You hurt me. But no, you created a pattern, a spirit from what I've done. So now every time there's a window that you're not with me, you're now tormenting me with something I've done.
Right.
So that's got to be healed, because if you love your person you with, two things you don't want. You don't want to keep being reminded of something you want to run from.
Right.
And you don't want to be, you don't want to be tortured when you really want to move on with that person.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's major.
So now, so how do you deal with a scenario where, because I've heard tons of people say, you know, you can forgive the person, but you can change your position. So in their mind, them changing their position is the green light to, you know what I mean, allowing them to replace them.
But have you changed your position? Because if you did, I should never revisit something you say you forgave me in. You never change your position. Sometimes we quote things that we're not passionate to live by.
Right.
Because if you change your position, you've now freed me and yourself from that thought, that action, that whatever it was. We're talking about guilt. We're guilty.
Right.
See, I know I'm guilty, but I refuse for you to make me feel guilt.
Right. Is this long suffering, Pastor? How long do you really supposed to suffer through something like that? Like,
I think that something like that tears down a relationship. I think it tears down the strength of what could work, because that person begins to say, I'm tired of being beat on something I've been set free from and I was guilty of. It's a sad person that would go to jail for 5 years for what they did, right? Admit that they did it, and 2 years later got to go back because you're now angry about it.
wow. Yeah, and do it all over again.
And do it all over again. The time might be shorter, but I'm still getting the penalty.
Right.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, a lot of us, you know, I mean, I know you have to build trust, but trust has to be built by the person that needs the trust, not the person that you want the trust from.
Right.
The person that needs the trust has to create trust. Because everything I do won't say that you trust me. So I can't give you trust.
Right.
Yeah.
Because giving you trust makes you control me.
Right.
But you can take trust.
Yeah.
You can make your own trust for me.
Right.
I choose to trust you. But you want me to give you trust. It's impossible, because now I'm a prisoner in the things of my joy. So I'm out there, I'm hanging out with y'all, I'm laughing and joking, and I forget to, you call me, and I say, I'm going to answer the phone as soon as I finish laughing and joking with y'all. Get to the car, drive down the road, you call again, and cuss me out. Because you want me to give you trust. I can't give you trust.
That was on top of the test that
I'm trying to work with the trust you want, but I can't give you trust. You have to give yourself trust in me.
Right.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I guess that go both ways now, right?
Oh, I mean, it's not male and female. That's people.
That's period.
That's people.
You gotta trust
We just
yourself.
talking men. We got to do the same thing.
Right.
You know, we can't be like, you know, you got to trust me going out. And then when I go out, that person you calling her 12,000 times. Where you at? Where you at?
Right.
This is funny. And y'all may not experience it, but I know in life you do. Sometimes people want to be in prison to be accountable. That they make you feel like your freedom to them is wrong. Like they be like, why you didn't call me while I was out? Why you didn't make sure I got home? Like, hold up. Couldn't you call me when you came? I'm going to get punished because you expect something of me that you can do yourself for me.
Right.
See, it's such a spirit that needs to be cast out. And some things got to be cast out by your decision to say, no, I'm not going to act that way.
So so you basically saying it's a control thing. When people say you gotta build your trust, you gotta make me trust
I think
you again.
I think that's a good quote. You have to build trust. I think you have to be consistent in the way you live, and that person will have to understand that's the consistency they have to live by if they want to live with you.
Right.
And you know, another thing also, sometimes what's causing that pain and hurt may not be from your relationship, but from a past relationship. Still having forgiven and still holding on to that one and address you.
That's why you have to give yourself trust.
Yeah.
Whatever the person is, whatever it is, you have to say, I choose to give that person trust. I hate to hear when people say, I'm still hurt over the thing that happened to me, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I might have did it, I might not have done it. But you're choosing for me to be normal while you treat me like I should be punished.
Wow. That's true.
Because I forgave, no, what you have forgave, this is what you have forgave. You have not forgave the actions. You forgave the moment.
Right.
But you're living with the actions. And that's why we can still be together day after day, as long as you don't feel that moment.
That moment.
Oh, you don't feel that
You
moment.
see what I'm saying? As long as when you feel that moment, we're going to have a bad day. And that's crazy. And see, you said something powerful, Pastor Marcus. You said, whatever you look for, that's what you get. Your mind is created to find something that looks similar and call it that.
Right.
Wow. Jeez.
That's good.
And then you have to prove that you're wrong when you've always been innocent.
Right.
Prove that you're guilty, innocent, when you've always been innocent. But and how can you convince my thinking?
Right.
You can't. You can't convince my thinking. The only way you can convince my thinking, I must open up to accept what you're saying. But if you cutting me off and you snapping at me, I can't convince your thinking. It's impossible. So all I'm going to do is stay 20 minutes to an hour to be abused by you. And then at the end of it, you want to say you love me. Because you can't get over
That's tough.
forgiving me,
That's a rough road.
choosing to forgive me. You have to choose forgiveness.
Right.
It's not given to you. You have to choose it. None of us change, and Jesus said, God, forgive them. You have to choose it, God. You have to forgive them, for they know not what they do. They're not changing,
Right.
but you have to forgive them.
I think the expectation is where the problem comes in some instances, because for some reason it's a human being situation. A lot of times we have expectations for people that we don't have for ourselves. I'm expecting you to do stuff, to say stuff, to be stuff that I'm not, and I'm not willing to be either. But I expect it from you because you're this, you're my child, you're my wife, you're my husband, you're my whatever the role is that the person has. I expect for you to be this. You know, people do it all the time. I mean, you see it all the time, especially with church. They expect for people in church to be perfect.
Yeah.
And they say, well, you're supposed to be a minister, so it's no way that you're supposed to be doing that. Right, but you was just doing it. Yeah, but I'm not a minister.
So that makes
So
sense.
it's okay for me to do it. It's not okay for you to do it. I got an expectation for you. I just don't have that expectation for me.
The thing is so crazy about it is, if I'm caught in the same thing you've done in the past, my penalty stays more severe because it's recent. So you can remind me over and over again I've done wrong. But if I give you a list of what you did wrong, you did it, you have a reason for all the wrong you did. I cheated because you cheated. I cheated because we weren't together then. We might not have been together in word, but we were together in commitment. We got to get delivered from trying to be free to prison people. And they're wrong. Christianity, one of the strongest things about Christianity is forgiveness.
Yeah.
But we're not forgiving people. We're not as strong as forgiving as we should be. So, let's get back to that. That's just a like a wild moment. Right? You know, like ain't nobody had nothing to say because I knew I was still under prison terms. So Dave was still in lockup. He can't say too much about it. His lawyer told me he can't speak. But as a man, how did you overcome one of the greatest hurtful things of your life?
I would say for me, with my daughter, I said something to her, my oldest daughter, I said something to her that I knew I shouldn't have said, and the way I overcame it was time. Time allowed me to not be able to, kind of like we had a moment of not really speaking, and because at that time she was angry, I was stupid, right? But she was angry because I'm the one that's wrong, but had to realize that what I said was wrong, but time fixed it, which allowed me to open up my mouth and be able to say the right things to fix it. But I couldn't go back 24 hours and refix what I already said that was hurtful to her. So I would say for me, it was time.
Well, does that fit in all cases? Or should we wait to fix what we know we already wrong in the moment?
Well, I guess I want to say for me, the reason because what I said to her, you know what I mean, was hurtful, and the stupid thing that I said, you know,
I don't say what you said.
The way that I needed the time was because one, I had to fall to my knees and repent.
Wow.
Then I had to ask for forgiveness for God for what I said. Then build up the fortitude to be able to go to her, and then be able to ask for her forgiveness.
So what took so long for the forgiveness to show up?
I would say that probably my relationship with her as her father, someone that she looked toward, that should never say what I said to her. So for me, I had to go back and, you know, I'm gonna say I had to wait on God, and we can't say when He say go do it, but when He told me when to go do it, that's when I moved. For me. And that's what fixing it down today, you know.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Anybody else on this side?
Yeah, I went through a situation. I probably hurt myself more than I thought I would when my wife now, when I broke up our relationship. It set me back, and it hurt me in the long run. Like it hurt me like spiritually, financially, mentally. Like I went through like, you know, a tough time in my life, and I went through some hurt, some pain. Even though I know I probably hurt her more than whatever I felt, I do agree with that. But in that time, you know, I faced some setbacks, and I had to get back to a place. It really just took me kind of like living life in that like kind of like whole, right, experience, like what it felt like not to be with her, not to have that that spiritual grounding that I once had, not to have that financial foundation. It was a tough time. Like time, it ain't last long. You know, talking about like 60 to 90 days. But after that, when I came out of that, I was like a better man. I ain't going through that again. I came back with a ring, and that kind of changed my life like forever.
Yeah, now you got 19 children. On this side, anybody on this side?
Yeah, I was in a situation, and I hurt my wife, but it was something that caused us to separate, and I misunderstood what caused the separation. So when I came back, I realized how much I really hurt her, but it caused a situation that was much more catastrophic than what I'd even done that lasted for a long time. In actuality, guilt kept me there. Out of the guilt that I felt within me, it caused me to do right and not want to ever cause that kind of pain or hurt again.
Yeah, guilt can be your best friend sometimes. That's the truth. Pastor Marcus, since we're on that side. About 2 minutes.
Man, I messed myself up one time. had to get over because I one day looked in the mirror and saw that I had become a piece of someone that I hated. And you can see something in, you know, say a family member or something. You say, you know what, I never want to be that. I never want to do that. And as a result of it, then you later see that in yourself and be like, what? As much as I hated it, how did I end up being there and then having to deal with it and come out of it and you know what I mean, forgive yourself and change your mindset the whole nine.
That tells us that men do hurt. But women don't think we do. They don't think we are. We think we bionic sometimes. We hurt. And we hurt over things we can't fix. Mm-hmm. And we just wait for you to give us a chance to get back up. We can't fix it. We just want to get back.
I had so much anger. Like my family, I'm married, I'm divorced now, but I had so much anger. And I look back like, man, thank God for a church home that had a pastor like you that speak life into you and rebuke you when you know you wrong and you got so much anger issues to love on your family and understand, let them know that you do love them and just the way that you love them. I had to change it to show them that for my anger, it's not that I don't love you, I just want you to be better than me.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, Dave, why are you waking up? Let's oh, you already did one. Dave, you got it in?
Yeah.
You
Ask
still
it
angry?
again.
Ask it again?
Yeah, ask the question again.
Go ahead, yeah.
Got the question. What was the question, Pastor Barber?
The question was,
I looked at him and lost all things.
how were you able to get over something that
hurt.
was hurtful?
Or did you get over it?
Right.
Have you ever been hurt?
Yeah.
See, we like live.
Everybody loud, but I'm just saying,
And like,
You never been hurt. You know you're the last person, though.
You can tell that he really never was in the show. Everybody spoke.
but I was just trying to figure out, like, have I ever, like,
Nothing ever hurt you.
and ain't get over. I mean, I've been hurt, but ain't, like, to the point where I was, like, hurt, and I had to take time to get over it.
All right,
So what's the first hurt and the second hurt?
Hurt. Yeah. Let's talk about the fifth hurt.
Even if it only took a day, like, to get over it, what if something had to push you?
That's not coaching, dog. That's not coaching. Let's just let Dave be Dave today. I think one of the things that had to be a challenge for me to get over was the multiple deaths of people in my life that I cared about. And at the same time, still have to care for the people that's being affected by the death.
Right.
I think that's been very dramatic for me. You know, had multiple pastor friends. I don't want to call people names out. Multiple family members that died all in the same, almost felt like to me the same season.
Right.
It really wasn't the same season.
Right.
That I never took time to grieve, so it ran straight into this, and still had the responsibility to maintain the grieving of other people's lives, answering why when someone can't help me with mine.
Right.
That came very dramatic for me. And that's why it's good to have the scripture, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High. You had to get to a place, because nobody knew. Sometimes people never know that you're not all right.
Right.
Because you're too busy making sure everybody else all right.
Yeah.
And then the signals, then the people didn't identify the signals. You know, why is he snapping? Oh, he's snapping because he don't like the work being done. No, there's got to be something else too, because we have not done the work before.
Right.
Certain things, no, for real. You gotta know people. And I found out, and maybe this is a question I might want to throw y'all. In your journey of men being men and establishing manhood, do you have more people that drain you than give to you?
Definitely.
Yes.
And what, if you do, why you think it's that way? Let's start with you, Dave.
It's that way, I guess, because they don't know how to give. So all they know how to do is receive and take. All their life, that's all they knew was to receive and take, and they never had to give or share with somebody. I can't really, I mean, that can be some reasons, but.
What you, Matt?
I would say if you have that many people, and like that's like you were equipped to handle being able to pour into that many people, and you just have to find the people that are supposed to be able to pour back into you. Obviously, it's not going to always be the person that you pour into. There's other people that's supposed to kind of help you and strengthen you, not the people that you always pour into.
So, I know because time is really. So, does it shut you down, or do you pull away from the people that pull on you? What do you do? What do you do when you don't have that resource?
You do both. It depends on how God is leading you. Some people are so draining, so demanding that the season and time with them is over with. and you have to move on the way God is leading you and directing you. And also, when you go through seasons like that, and the rest of the people come, it becomes a ministry. So now you know how to minister to other people.
Yeah, that sounds good, but it don't feel like a ministry when it's being done.
No, not when it's being done. No,
It don't. It sounds. I mean, it's the biblical, spiritual, and biblical way to say. But in all honesty, people taking from you, and you identifying that their results, the results that you're getting, is ineffective.
Right.
It's not growing. You have to go deep to call it ministry at that time. You see what I'm saying? If you're going to be realistic, you really feel like I don't want to do this anymore. But the love for them makes me do it again. You know, because it's the pain that they're going through to make you feel like y'all got children like Dave and you, Pastor Marcus, y'all probably go through it a lot where you invest in them and their results don't come out the same. So you want to sometimes want to punish them. You want to find some sort of rule so you won't get caught up in the pain again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't work out that way. You know what I mean? Although you feel that way, but it turns sometimes into you switching your role or position from being the provider to being the teacher. Because sometimes we can provide the stuff, and then they get accustomed to just getting it from you versus getting the actual.
Well, do they let you teach? Well, that's the thing. You're talking about children now,
right?
Is a level of your children's life where they deny your teaching?
Right, but it doesn't.
But they still want your things.
Right, but even if they deny your teaching, sometimes you let the lesson be the teacher, and then they'll remember what you taught them. Because during the time of them not wanting to use what you taught them, you know what I mean?
I agree with that.
Step back.
But sometimes, my mother gave some major lessons to me. But it took me 40 years to realize that was a lesson.
Wow.
No, for real. It took me 40 years to realize the stories I tell today, what I don't tell you is my disobedience with those stories.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense, Dave? I'm trying hard to bring you in, Dave. I'm trying hard.
I'm thinking when you teaching them, so I got 2 of my sons, they box now, whatever, right? So, and my daughter wanted to box too, so I signed up for boxing or whatever, but then as soon as I spent my money on it, then she decided that she just want to go once and then don't want to go back. But I said, before you started, let me know if this is really what you want to do before I spend my money, because I need my money.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? She said, yeah. So then when she ended up not going now, so that means the next time when she go to want to do something, I'm going to bring this up. And I'm not, I might not
do it or not.
I might give her the money or, invest in her in that area because of what she already done before.
Do we take back from them? When they make those type of errors, like Dave said, that we take something from them?
Right, I was going to say,
there's a lot you can take from them when you caring for them. I'm talking about, we're not talking about, let's stay with this, we're not talking about 13, 14, 15 year old. We're talking about 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Right.
Where they still being dependent on you in some sort of arena. And I think you take back from them. I think you take the car. I think you take the cell phone. Because these are things that I shouldn't be responsible for if you were at the level of your responsibility.
That's good.
Indeed.
Right, you can't take
Indeed.
Those things.
That's not a teachable moment for them at that time. 20 years from now, it might be. You might be like, I was glad my father took the car from me. Or I'm glad my father took that TV from me. But it's not a teachable moment. My mother taught me how to pay bills. You know how she taught me how to pay bills? She started taking money from me. So when I went to move out, I was already used to people taking money from me. But I moved out because she took money from me.
Right.
I moved out because she took money from me. Not knowing she was preparing me for people had to take money from me.
My father-in-law taught me a good portion of how to be a man, right? By how he changed position when my wife got pregnant with our first child, because we weren't married yet. And he was completely taking care of my wife. But when she got pregnant, he pulled back on what he was doing, because if he still did it, he would have been taking care of the baby too. So then I not only had to take care of the baby, but in some portions of it, I had to take care of my wife too. in some areas because if he would have did it, it would have been him taking care of the baby. So he had to sacrifice her to make sure that he wasn't taking care of her baby.
Wow, that's good.
That's really good.
Yeah, we 5 minutes into the show. So you think it's okay for, like, I know some adults, I think some of my family members is like, when you have kids, they like, you don't get no more gifts for Christmas, but your child does.
Right.
You know, you get demoted from the
Right, you get demoted off the list.
You off the list, but bring all your kids along, and then I'll make sure they got something.
Right.
You'll get
So as men, how do we express in 5 minutes? Everybody got half a second, less than 30 seconds. How do we express in one word your personality? In one word, we're gonna go to you, Matt. We only got a minute, Dave. So when we get to you, be ready.
Generous.
Generous.
Fun.
Fun. Woo!
Personality.
Fun or funny?
No, not that.
Fun.
Yeah, fun.
Okay. Beth Marcus.
Love it.
determined.
Charismatic.
Provider.
Tired.
Yeah.
Of all of y'all right there. Because I'm just joking about the time, but through your personality, your one word personality is really how people need to meet you.
Right.
Because they'll fight the thing, like he said, provider. So anything that everybody will attack his ability to provide. Because as a provider now, you're explaining what you put up.
Wow.
Any provider will always share what they put up. Most people don't want to hear that. You said charismatic. People think that you're too outgoing. They think that you always want to be in the front. Seriously.
Right.
That's the negative to, funny. People just be surprised.
That's good, son. You couldn't wait to get you.
That's your name. Coach said, fun.
You said fun?
So all these things, if these are your one letter word personalities, you have to know your negativity.
That's good.
If not, then you won't understand why people treat you the way they do.
That's good.
You got to know your negativity. You got to know the things that's negative to that one word that you call yourself.
Right.
You got to know. If you don't, your enemy will destroy you every time.
So that's what they go against.
Yep. They're going to go against because that's the weapon they use to stop your strength. So provider's real good. You always talk about what you've done. You always talk about what you got to do. You're going to get that. You'll get very few people say, you know what, you're the best provider in the whole world. You won't get the trumpet. That's why we just don't talk about coach is so much fun, but we don't want to tell him.
Right.
Even if we don't want to tell him so much fun. You don't get that trumpet.
Right.
So it's important that as men that you know the negativity that is in birth through your character. There's always some sort of negativity that's birthed through your character. Well, our time is almost up. We're literally a minute away. This is Resurrection Sunday. Matter of fact, in this less than a minute, one word. What would you call the power of the service today? In one word. Go down the round. Let's start with you again, Matt.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Mind blowing.
I can't even think of one.
You said too many words, right?
Impact.
Freeing.
Huh?
Freeing. Delivering.
Freeing, delivering. And I think that's what God wanted all us to do. All those things y'all said.
Yeah, that's
Even
right.
I think that God wanted all us to have a moment because He is God.
Right.
And we want to tell you today, we want you to come and join us next week. One of our programs will be here at the same time, the same station. We love you. We're getting back. We're going to start adding more of our TV programs back on the air. We appreciate all the things that you're doing. Hope to see you real soon next week. I'm Pastor Tony Smith. This is the Man Up Crew. Cool as we may be, we're hungry. We're going to get something to eat. Mama, have the chicken ready. I'm on my way. God bless you. Have a great time. Hey, man, y'all did an awesome show. It's important that we understand as men